Welcome back, True Seeker. One more promotion for the annual Super Bowl 59 live stream. It will be happening today starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. It's patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. The link's in the description of every video. Just go on Google and type in Patreon Zachary K. Hubbard. It's going to pop up. Might be easier for you to find it that way with your little search engine. But again, understand if you sign up for the Super Bowl, you get a whole month subscription and you get content every single day. People love to decode sports. People love to take advantage of the rig world of sports. The Super Bowl is just one game. There are tons of games every day to take advantage of. We've been on a tear taking advantage of rig sports. And just to show you a little recap of how yesterday went for us, did you have the big underdog Hornets yesterday over the Spurs? Again, just run through the games yesterday, guys. We'll run through the games right here. And also, in case you missed the short video I put out on my news channel about the latest plane crashes, there were two yesterday. One of them in Sao Paulo, where the Eagles opened their season against the Packers, where we had the exact score nearly dead on. We had the Packers to lose with 29. We were more confident about that score. I had Eagles to beat the Packers 33-29 to open the season in Sao Paulo. Instead, they beat them 34-29. I was 1 point off. Anyway, we'll come back to that, but Hornets were a 10.5 point underdog last night. This is a major payout. We thought taking them with the points was a very safe way to play the game. Dollar parlay is where you get the big multiplier effect. Hornets upset the Spurs. Cavs over Wizards was no bragging rights. Huge favorite, 17.5 point favorite. Does look like the Cavs might be on a 4-game road winning streak to become 21-6 away because they love that 2-1-6 in Cleveland. Hawks were a solid dog against the Bucks last night. What's the number I always teach about with Atlanta? Come on, over and over and over I teach this number, 15. What road loss did the Bucks get last night? 15. Again, we look at both sides of the equation. We say what the top scenario is. That's why it's on the top. See, this is top scenario here, Hornets. Top scenario here, Cavs. Top scenario here, Atlanta. 15 in Atlanta. Always the top scenario. It's not going to hit every time. Made us cry in the college football championship game. But hey, then again, we had futures in it before the season began for Notre Dame and Ohio State to win the championship. So we were covered either way. But man, had Notre Dame upset with the huge value, they would have got their 15th win of the year in Atlanta. There's no perfect patterns, but there are winning patterns. And 15 in Atlanta is a big fat winner. And again, for anyone crying about missing on the college championship, we came back the very next day. And we saw what they did with Ohio State, who was a 10.5 point underdog versus Purdue. And we saw how if Purdue lost, they'd be 15-5, like Ohio State won the 155th college football season. Hit a nice big upset in college basketball in tribute to the football season the very next day. The Nets and the Heat. Nets, 6.5 point underdog. We were on the Nets with the top scenario right up here. And you could have took them with the points to play it extra safe. Nets upset. Pistons and 76ers. Like I tell people, don't fade 31 with the Pistons. Pistons and 31 is very consistent. I had newer people calling in here saying, like, I don't know if I can take the Pistons. I'm like, I just said to them, I said, I really like 31 a lot in the Pistons game. Sure enough, 76ers pick up the 31st loss. Thunder and Raptors, also no bragging rights here. 19.5 point favorite. Thunder. If you took the Raptors with the points, they would have covered 18 date numerology, good indicator they weren't going to cover that spread. But again, just the thing is, Thunder in 36, very consistent. Friday in 36, very consistent. Raptors get the 36 loss. There was a little narrative there for potential monster upset. There was an advised dollar parlay. We like to stretch a dollar into 100. We do it often in this community. You can do it when upsets like that come in. And then we thought Jazz with the points last night, 9.5 point dog on 9 date numerology as you get a plane crash in the state that equals 9. I'm talking about Alaska. Suns win by 8. So yeah, Jazz with the points was the play last night. Learn your numbers, learn your gematria, learn your date numerology. So how did we do in the NBA last night? Let's count it up real quick. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. 6-0, 7-0, and we'll, you know what? We'll knock off 2 of those because 2 of them were huge favorites. So who cares? But in games with value and upsets, 5-0. Let's switch it over to the NHL. There was only one game that burned me in the NHL, and I didn't expect it to be the game that burned me, but this is why we never bet more than we can afford to lose. It was that first game on the slate. We had the Rangers to win the last game to set up this exact scenario where they get the 58 points over Pittsburgh. Normally plays. Didn't play last night, but you know what? We only missed that game, so it got a lot better from there. So that one was off. That one was off. The Jets and the Islanders. Jets had the narrative to get that 39th win over New York. New York in 39, historically a thing of beauty. However, in last year's MLB season, until the postseason came around, man, 39 was not playing in New York. We'd never seen anything like it. That's the thing about more people learning about this knowledge. You can still win with this knowledge. You just can't win at as high of a percentage as you used to back when I first started, back when I used to show off all the time, just doing all the public streams and having total confidence. There was no way I was going to get embarrassed. Like, it'd be like 1 out of 50 days I'd get embarrassed. Hardly ever. But again, things have changed a little bit, and that's why we play more cautious and we just multiply small bills into big bills. But anyway, Jets had the narrative for the 39th win. They had the parents' points narrative that went with the date numerology. The underdog Blackhawks, how did they do? Blackhawks plus 170 last night. A lot going on their side of the equation. And bada bing, bada boom, the underdog Blackhawks take care of business. How about the underdog Avalanche? I told people, I said, if Colorado won on Thursday, it was going to set them up for the upset of the Oilers on Friday, because 33 and Oilers plays hard. Colorado last night, plus 165. Another nice value team. They go in and pick up the 33rd win over the Oilers as underdogs. And then Stars and Kings, the play was the underdog Stars with the goals. They lost by a goal, which means they covered the spread, which means it's a winner. So, again, in hockey last night, nice upsets, 4-1. And, again, thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. The college basketball rank games were not a thing of beauty yesterday. There was only 2 of them. One of them didn't look good, and the other one that did look good didn't come in. So, missed there, but we'd had a great week of college basketball. Friday night, one game left us hanging. So, yeah, this is what we do day after day. We take advantage of the rigged world of sports. And it's why I have so many trolls and so many haters and so many people around me lying constantly. Zach only takes big favorites on the money line. No, the real truth is I chase value too much, just like a lot of people in this community will do, because it's just kind of the way human nature is. Like, oh man, I see the huge multiplier effect. But again, like I always tell people, if you take those dogs that have great narratives and you take them with the points, when it lines up with the date numerology, when it lines up with the gematria, you're going to win at a very high percentage. And if you're winning each day, you're building. And like I always preach, I don't have any tattoos on my body, but if I did have a tattoo, if somebody said you have to put a tattoo on your body right now, what I would tattoo on my body is the tortoise, because I always like the story of the tortoise and the hare. You just go nice and steady. You stay within your means. You keep moving forward. You eventually win the race. If you don't know the story of the tortoise and the hare, it's a child's nursery rhyme. The hare blows past the tortoise, and he's so confident. He takes a big siesta, and next thing you know, the tortoise is ahead and through the finish line. So anyway, congrats to the winners. Just reminding you guys, we'll be doing the same thing with the Super Bowl. Been doing the Super Bowl every year since Super Bowl 48. Only got it wrong one time. That was Super Bowl 52, but it wasn't bad because we had the future in for that Super Bowl for those exact teams in week 3. And we did have a hedge bet that if the Patriots lost, take Zach Ertz for the game-winning touchdown, which was a way bigger payout than the game. And it did happen. So actually it ended up being the most winningest Super Bowl that we ever had the one year I got it wrong. And again, that's a testament to the power of the knowledge. The year you get it wrong is actually the year you make the most money on your hedge bet. So anyway, come join us. The link is in the description, patreon.com, Zachary K. Hubbard. And I'll pin it as the top comment as well. But all you got to do is open up the description of the video to find all the links for my website and all that. And by the way, just to recap this Sao Paulo thing, doesn't seem like many people saw that video. Again, the Eagles beat the Packers to open the year in Sao Paulo, 34-29. Again, we did have the Packers to lose with 29 points in that game. You know what else we called in that game? Love to get injured. Yeah, we even had the Love injury called in that game. Remember, they were promoting that movie Love Hurts. You had the Battle of Love and Hurts. We were on it, and if you weren't with us at the start of the NFL season, we were doing unprecedented things, just absolutely torching, setting the league on fire. But also in the wild card round, the Eagles beat the Packers with their symbolic 22. Again, we call the wild card round the 38 round. Wild card 38. Now you get a plane crash in Sao Paulo shortly after on the 38th day of the year. Look at the overlap with Eagles and crash, 49, 22, 32. Again, remember, NFL has the gematria of 49 and 32. Chiefs in Kansas City also equal 32. Super Bowl is also 49. From the Sao Paulo game to this crash was exactly 22 weeks. Again, Brazil is 32 and 40. The Super Bowl's on the 40th day of the year. Plane crash is 173, which is the 40th prime, like airplane. And they said this crashed in the Barra Funda neighborhood. Barra Funda, same gematria as Super Bowl. Again, if you've missed the videos on the plane crashes in DC into the chopper and the one 2 days later in Philadelphia, you need to get caught up with those. We've been showing how all of them are clearly connected to the Super Bowl. They're all rituals. But notice Barra Funda is also 67, like Kansas City and Super Bowl LIX. And it had the 67 and 86 in it as well. And we'll come back to that 184. But those are big blood sacrifice numbers, just like how in the crash of the plane into the chopper, there were 64 people on the plane and 3 on the chopper for a total of 67. Fateful numbers. You just saw what they did to Irv Gotti with this same numerical code. We covered that the other night on GematriaEffectNews. Dead in tribute to the real Murder, Inc., which ended 83 years earlier when Murder's 83. But the 184 matters because WrestleMania is 184, and the last WrestleMania was on the Eagles, or in the Eagles Stadium, Lincoln Financial Field. And remember, on Lincoln's birthday, you had the first Super Bowl between 2 black quarterbacks, Mahomes and Hurts, in Super Bowl 57. But WrestleMania, it was the 40th WrestleMania in Philadelphia. And now they're playing in the Super Bowl on the 40th day of the year. We talked about this forever. The parallels between Royal Rumble and Super Bowl and WrestleMania and Super Bowl, it goes on every year. And that's why they always have the WWE belt out for the Super Bowl, as they keep trying to convince the dummy fans that it's not rigged and it's different than the WWE when it's not at all. In fact, I'd say it looks even more fake than the WWE. The NFL does. But look at this. From the day that WrestleMania began to this crash, 307 days. That's the 63rd prime, like Friday 63, like how there were 63 points in the Sao Paulo game. That's why, if you weren't with me at the beginning of the year, I kicked myself after the game, because I even talked about how big 63 had been on Friday. Baseball was wrapping up. Man, 63 murdered in baseball last year. Remember, Major League Baseball equals 63 when you run it forwards. Major League alone is 63 when you run it inverse. We'll be watching to see if that's happening again this year on Fridays. 63 was one of the best patterns last year in the baseball season on Fridays. And again, how often do you have a football game on Friday? Almost never. But yeah, 63 points in that game. And now this, a plane crash in Sao Paulo where the game was on a Friday. And also, you had a plane crash in Alaska, which is the 49th state in order of statehood. Notice how New Orleans has the gematria 45 forwards, 54 in reverse. This crash yesterday was on 54 date numerology. You get that by adding the date, February 2 plus the 7th, 7 plus 20 plus 25, which adds up to 54. New Orleans 45 and 54. Alaska 45. Remember, Trump just renamed Denali back into Mount McKinley, which is in Alaska. Denali was also 45. 2025 has a square root of 45. Big number this year. New Orleans 45. Remember the tragedy on New Year's Day in New Orleans to start 2025. And then the next one at Trump Tower with a Cybertruck, which equals 45. And then the next one in the town where Trump was born, Queens, New York, at the nightclub on New Year's Day, Azamura, which equaled 45. New Orleans is Trumpet Town, Trump Tower, then the nightclub where in Trump's hometown, Donald Trump, number 45, back in office by the numbers like we told you 4 years in advance. But yeah, Alaska was also established as a state in the year 1959. So this is the 4th plane crash since the conference championships. We got the plane into the chopper on the first day of the year of the snake in tribute to Kobe. Again, it was the 5th death anniversary of Kobe, the day of the conference championships. His hometown Eagles on the way to their 5th Super Bowl. The Chiefs, who benefited from his death, trying to win their 5th and become 5-2 in championships, like Kobe was 5-2. But again, you had the plane into the chopper, the American Eagle into the Black Hawk, when Black Hawk helicopters are named after chiefs. And remember, that was from the 12th Battalion, and it crashed 12 days before the new Black Hawk Down comes out. And it was 78 days after the Superior General's birthday, which is the 12th triangular number. And then it was 93 months since the last Black Hawk helicopter crash in the U.S., which happened right after Trump became president the first time. And then Trump bombed Somalia days later, when Somalia and the Black Hawk Down incident happened in 93. But anyway, sports, news, warfare, these people are doing everything by the numbers. And don't forget, the Ram is the god of war. The Rams win Super Bowl 56. And McVay's out there with his Ukrainian fiance. And the next thing you know, Ukraine with the same colors is the Rams is at war. And the Pope's in Ukraine on the 56th day of the year, meeting with the leader of Ukraine and Putin in the same day, asking them to stop. When Society of Jesus equals 56, and they gave us the book Art of War, which is credited to a Sun Tzu, which nobody knows if he ever existed. The only reason people know about that book is because of the Jesuit priest. When Art of War equals 102, and that was the 102nd NFL season that the Rams won on 213 and the 213 area code in the Billy Cannon Bowl. Again, Billy Cannon, drafted by the Rams, died the day Joe Burrow transferred to LSU on Cannonball Day for the Jesuits. Billy Cannon connected to 4 NFL teams: the Rams, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Oilers. Who did the Bengals play that year in the playoffs? They played the Titans, who used to be the Oilers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Rams. I mean, could it be any more scripted? Could it be any more Jesuit? Don't forget the Lombardi trophies, named after the Jesuit Vince Lombardi, who died unexpectedly at Georgetown the day before the 1970 season began. Vatican equals 70, like Alaska just turned 70 at the start of the year. Or, sorry, 65. Sorry. Alaska just turned 65 years old. Philadelphia equals 65. It's the Chiefs' 65th season. Andy Reid's playing his old team, Philly. Philly established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. But anyway, Alaska, the 49th state, NFL Super Bowl crash 49. Mahomes sitting on 48 road wins before he plays the Eagles. Trying to do that Joe Montana 49er history. Again, Joe got his 4th Super Bowl in New Orleans, winning with 55 points. Again, the Eagles just scored 55 in the conference championship. They've given up 55 points in the playoffs in 3 games. Joe Montana blew out the Broncos in New Orleans for his 4th Super Bowl with 55 points. The one way that 55 could play for the Eagles is just that Mahomes lost Super Bowl 55 to Brady. But, yeah, again, just the ritualism. Why Alaska? Where does it fit in with the 4th crash since the conference championships? You see that? 4 crashes since the conference championships were played now. 4 planes. DC, Philly, Sao Paulo. And again, the Eagles had just beat the Commanders. They just beat the DC team. So DC and Philly, very easy to see. Sao Paulo, where they opened the season, pretty easy to see. Green flag, battled the 2 green teams, the Packers. And when you think Packers, you do think Lombardi. And again, Packers were the last team to three-peat, but it doesn't count as a three-peat in the Super Bowl era because they won Super Bowls 1 and 2, and they won the championship the year before the Super Bowl began. And so the Packers three-peated 57 years ago. This is a rematch of Super Bowl 57. Missouri equals 57. Kendrick Lamar equals 57. The LA rapper performing in the state abbreviated LA. Sorry, No Limit. Sorry, Cash Money. Don't forget, Lil Wayne has a song Three-Peat that's 3 minutes and 19 seconds long. If you look it up on the disc, Andy Reid's birthday is 3/19. Things we've been talking about since before the season began. That's why we're in the driver's seat. We're in position to hedge our bet. We've all had our futures in for the Chiefs to three-peat since forever. But again, that's the position you want to be in. You just want to come into the game and know that you can make money no matter who wins. The little hedge bet. But anyhow, if you're not in that position, join us because we're going to talk about other ways to capitalize try and nail the player props. We had Jalen Hurts to rush in 3 touchdowns in the conference championship, tying an Eagles record. Boom, major payday. It's just like having Zach Ertz to score the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 52. Major payday. This knowledge pays. But yeah, these things are all related. Sao Paulo 49 ritual, 49th state on the same day. State established in 59. Donald Trump's going to be at the big game after naming the mountain after the 25th president, McKinley, who was assassinated. And when McKinley was killed, who became the president? Roosevelt, right? After McKinley was assassinated, Roosevelt became the president. We just had a crash on Roosevelt in Philly. These things are all connected. So again, you want to join us? We will be streaming on Patreon in about a little more than 4 hours. Again, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern is when it's going to begin. It's going to go at least 3 hours. I'm going to try not to go too much longer than 3 hours, but you'll get my information. You'll get other callers from the community. Usually you put it all together, my ideas plus other smart minds in the community. It results in a wonderful payday. So we'll be going for it again. Feel free to join us. If you want the live stream, you're going to want to be on the $11 tier. If you only want the written content, you can get that on the $5 tier. Again, I do content every day of the year, written content every single day. On the $11 tier, you get all the written content plus live streams Monday through Saturday. If you're on the $20 tier, you also get the Sunday live stream plus a chance to win money every week. We have a contest every week, $250 in cash giveaways every week. And if we get more people on that tier, we can bump it up, but that's what we can afford with the people on that tier right now. Small group of people competing for the cash prizes every week. And yeah, if you want to watch me stream the Super Bowl and do my live commentary on the game, that's the greatest value of all. The $1 tier. If you sign up on the $1 tier, you get the live stream of the Super Bowl. Realize I can't be showing you the game on the screen. They would shut that down in a second for copyright, but you get my stream with me watching the game and telling you everything I'm seeing. And you also get both of my ebooks. So for $1, you get both of my books and the commentary of the game. All right. Again, links in the description of the video, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. I got to get back to work so I can finish up everything for the stream in 4 hours. I hope to see you there. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Congrats to everyone who smoked the NBA and NHL again last night. We've been putting a lot of smokings on the NBA and NHL, and we intend to keep doing it. Until next time, True Seeker. Take care.